I am the seventh son of a seventh son. In all my life, they've said, hey, that's great. That's good luck.
That was Len Dawson in 1987, on the day he entered the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
People of Kansas City, for those of you who don't know those folks, is some kind of town.
And Kansas City loved him back. Born and raised in Alliance, Ohio, Purdue University was next.
I went to Purdue University for two reasons. One, it's a great university, and secondly, their offense threw the football.
His coach at Purdue, the legendary Hank Stram, who would later become instrumental in his success as a pro. But his NFL career began with some rather unremarkable seasons in Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
My skills had eroded because I hadn't been used.
He believed in you.
Yeah, I did. I think he did. Maybe not the first couple of weeks.
And then along came the American Football League. The Dallas Texans would then move to Kansas City, and Hank Stram was their head coach.
The all-time leader in touchdown passes for the AFL is Kansas City's Len Dawson.
His football career in Dallas and especially in Kansas City took off. His pinpoint passes and quiet sense of command earned him the nickname Lenny the Cool. His success and the team's success led to a matchup in the first Super Bowl against head coach Vince Lombardi and the heavily favored Green Bay Packers.
Rolls out to the right, he's got a man clear, touchdown!
Dawson played well, but the Packers were too much for the Chiefs in a 35-10 loss. Here was Lombardi after the game.
I think the Kansas City team is a real top football team. It doesn't compare with the National Football League teams.
Ticked me off, ticked all of us off.
So we wanted another opportunity, unfortunately, in Super Bowl IV against the Minnesota Vikings.
But on January 11th, 1970, the Chiefs were back.
For Sunday, 1970, the beginning of a new decade in sports.
Playing another heavily favored team from the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings.
Can't cover that thing, Lenny. Throw it anytime.
And once again, Dawson played well, completing 6 of his first 7 passes in the game.
Pump it in there, baby. Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
A steady Chiefs offense and a stingy Chiefs defense put Kansas City ahead at halftime. But the Chiefs blew the game wide open in the third quarter when Dawson hit Otis Taylor on this 46-yard TD pass.
Nice going, Leonard. Nice going, baby. Nice going, baby.
It was overwhelming. It's just, you know how the relief comes when, you know, it's over with and you've been successful. That's the feeling that I had when I came off the field. Got back to Kansas City for the parade. Now that's another story.
He thought the Chiefs would return to the Super Bowl, but it never happened. At age 41 in 1976, Dawson retired from playing.
This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. Thanks for watching that video. Len Dawson was a legend in everywhere you could be. A sports legend, a guy who, legend as a father. He wasn't here to see the Chiefs win this year, but he was here to see him win in 2020 against the 49ers. He was also a great broadcaster. He was one of the best Chiefs quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs quarterback. Obviously now Patrick Mahomes is the Chiefs quarterback. Len Dawson changed the game. He made the AFC relevant. As the crowd of the funeral into Country Club Christian Friday morning, a connection to the late Chiefs quarterback Len Dawson. I am smiling because I think about how wonderful it was back then. Albrina said, what a gift it was to stand here. Chiefs radio analyst Dan Hughes said Dawson paved the way for other former players like him to enter into the career of broadcasting after the playing career. Recalled him, Dawson, as a connection to the city, and specifically season ticket holders. He attached his prominence with the franchise. They said, you can get rid of everything except 3 people. Kevin Harlan, Bill Grisby, and obviously Len Dawson. I said, you know what? I'm going to take that advice, and it's a damn good advice. Now on to baseball. Royals are playing the young players, which I think is good. This point is going to go for the most lottery picks and a chance to win the most lottery picks. And then in the NBA and baseball, it's switch to lottery. If you have the worst record, you have the most balls in the lottery of 6 teams. The Royals are finally tanking, which has been a long time. They've never been willing to do this. Tanking refers to practicing international fielding a non-competitive team to take advantage of the benefits. Here's more from A10 on the pace to be the worst team and have 11 out of 12 players. The goal would be the worst team. The Royals and Celtics are 19-55. Royals are 19-53. So still the second team, worst team in baseball. Here's 810 talking more about the Royals, whether Soren Petter likes the tanking, and Sam McDowell has some drawbacks. Here's 810.
I don't care. The season is lost as far as it accomplishing anything at the big league level this year. So they're playing all the young guys. I'm happy. I don't just say, oh, we should bring the young guys up and then bitch when they bring the young guys up. I actually say it and then I walk it. I'm glad we're playing the young
when you
players.
Said you don't care, you just means about the record itself.
Because it's lost. Because there's no point in living and dying. Like when Samad Taylor does what he does and they come back, I like it. That's they got a little lesson in how to win, and they show that they've got some heart and fight. I think that's a good sign for Cotrero. It's a good sign for the makeup and character of the ball club that they hung in there. But they're overmatched. They're going to get wrecked. They're going to lose 100 games. And I'm not going to sit and, I don't mean to be channeling my inner Bill Grigsby here, but we had a lot of bad days as Chiefs fans as well. And I can remember a lot of times leaving the parking lot and Bill Grigsby saying, listen, it's just a game. Don't go home and kick the dog. The Chiefs will be back. It'll happen. And I think that's sage advice right now. I don't think the fans need to have any more angst, short of me finding out that they turned down a trade for some prospect who goes on to be a superstar. There is nothing that they will do that will change the lot of where this club is.
Here's just another indication of how bad it is. They have a .268 winning percentage on the season, and they are just one game under 500 in one-run games. They're 8-9, and they're still at .268. They are 11-43 in games decided by 2 runs or more.
That's actually
getting.
I think that there is a danger in having a lot of young players playing their first major league season, and this is the kind of introduction that they're having to the league. And I think if you de-emphasize winning, that can have a long-term effect.
Well, I'm not asking the ball club to go into the clubhouse and say, we don't care if you win or not.
I think
I'm just saying you're saying because I don't care if they win or lose?
I'm saying,
somehow I've tanked the team because I'm not holding them accountable?
Do you think the Royals have given an indication that winning is their first priority this year?
I think that's a loaded question when talking about a small market team coming off a losing season. Like where they're at, like what? So what do you want? You want $100 million of spending that would bring this team up to 76 wins?
I'm saying that
and
every
prohibit
decision
it from having any kind of long-term success.
I'm saying this is not a decision as far as evaluating your young talent that just has everything is in the pros column. I still think there's some drawbacks to it as well. And I
so
think
what would you do differently?
Well, I think every decision, especially at this kind of major league professional level,
right,
it's not just 100% black and white. And I still think even if you choose a decision, you have to acknowledge that it's got some drawbacks as well.
Well, there's always positives and negatives and ramifications for every decision. What would you do differently?
I don't think that necessarily prompts the question of what would you do differently.
Well, I'm now asking it. Are you avoiding it?
I'd play the young guys.
Okay.
But I still think it has an effect, and I'd still be worried about that effect.
Daniel Lynch will be on the mound for the Royals, who have now lost 10 out of their last 11. Michael Lorenzo will get the start for the Tigers. Game time is at 5:40. A 4-game set. The Royals lost the first one last night. Now moving on to Cardinals. Cardinals could be the MLB surprise player of 2023 trade deadline. So what is St. Louis willing to move on? We'll go more into this article from CBS. Cardinals are the most disappointing team in baseball after losing 6 in a row. The Cardinals have now won 3 in a row and will go for the series win tonight against the Nationals. Jordan Montgomery will go for the Cardinals, and Mackenzie Gore will go for the Nationals. Game time is at 6:05.